Hey, sixth graders, another day and another math lesson. Today we're going to be taking a look at 14-6, which is looking at tip, tax, discount, and then simple interest. The great thing about this lesson, you guys, is it's actual real life. This is stuff that you are going to be using in the future. You are going to need to know how to solve these ones and really to think logically when taking a look at these different things dealing with percent. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be breaking this down into our 4 different types, and I'll show you how to do each one. Big thing that you guys need to keep in mind here, these are all multi-step problems. You're going to be having a couple different steps to figure out your answers. It is not something that you're just getting one answer for, multi-step. All right, our first one we're taking a look at is dealing with tip. Okay, so this is for if we're out at a restaurant, you have a really good waitress, waiter, and you are going to leave them a tip. When you are leaving a tip, think about this. We're going to be adding money. We're going to be increasing what we're paying because we're going to be paying for that service. So our example we're going to take a look at today. So say a bunch of you guys go out to dinner. You can't now, but maybe you did some takeout. And your bill came to $62.50. Now, on top of that, say if you want to leave a 20% tip, which is pretty standard. So you want your tip to be 20%. Our first thing that we need to do is we need to figure out what is that tip going to be. For this, we're going to be taking a look at our lesson from last week. What we're going to do is we're going to put in our calculator that 62.50 or just 62.5. We're going to multiply by our percent. So when we're putting this in our calculator, we want to put it in as a decimal, which that decimal is 0.20 or just 0.2. I'm going to multiply it by that 0.2, and it comes up with 12.5. You guys, what that means is $12.50. That is what we're adding for a tip on top of what we're already paying. So our next step here, once we have our subtotal and we have our tip, we're going to be adding those together. So 62.50 plus 12.50, and that is going to equal 75. Now, for this one, you guys, and when we're doing all of our answers, making sure that we have our money sign, and we're going to be having it in money format. I would also accept this one if you just had $75, since we do not have any change on that. So for a tip, we have our subtotal. We're going to multiply by our decimal form of 20%, and we get $12.50 as our total, as our tip. Once we have that, we're going to add it to our subtotal to find our total cost, okay, which is going to be that $75. So that's when you're dealing with a tip. You're adding for that extra service that you're getting, whether that's waiter, waitressing service, whatever it may be. All right. Now, our next one that we're going to be taking a look at is tax. Now, in this case, most of them that we're going to be looking at are looking at sales tax. It's that extra money that we have to pay, money that goes towards the government, that's taking a look at things that we're purchasing. So for example, in our one with our sales tax, now this is the same as tip. We're going to be adding our amounts because it's an additional cost on top of whatever it is that we're spending. So say you guys go out shopping, okay, and you find something that costs $135, okay? Now, you go up to ring at the register, it's not going to be $135. Instead, we have to add that sales tax as well. So I'm going to say in this one that our sales tax is going to be 8%. We're going to follow the same steps that we did with our tip. We're going to take our subtotal and we're going to multiply by the decimal form of 8%. What is this as a decimal? You guys, big thing to keep in mind, that is 0.08, not 0.8, because 0.8 would be 80% sales tax. We just want that 8%. So we're going to do our 135 times 0.08. What we get for that is $10.80. Now, if you do it in your calculator, you're going to get 10.8. But remember, you guys, we're dealing with money here, so we always want it to be in that money format with 2 spots after the decimal. So our sales tax is an additional $10.80. To figure out the total, okay? When we're taking a look at this, the total cost, we're going to take our 135 plus our 1080, and that is going to be $145.80. Now, look at how I did this one, you guys. I have my money sign, and then I have 2 spots after the decimal in my money format. So we're dealing with tax. We're going to multiply it by our percent. This is our sales tax amount, but then we're going to add it to our original cost. Here is our total cost. All right. Our next one is going to be taking a look at discount, okay? This time, we're going to be taking money off. We're subtracting. So here, you guys, we're going shopping, okay? And you see something that's on sale, okay? % off, whatever it may be. So now, we're going to be taking that money off instead. However, we're still following the same process. So say we go shopping and we see something that it says regular price is $125. However, there is a discount of 15%. We want to figure out what it is that we're actually going to be spending. What is our sale price going to be? So we're going to do our 125 times our 0.15, which is going to be our decimal form. So 125 times 0.15, and we are going to get 18.75. Now, you guys, that's the money that is taken off. So to figure out what we're actually spending, what our sale price is going to be, we're going to go 125 minus 18.75. You guys, all of these, you're free to use a calculator. If you want to actually do the math, you definitely can. It's really good practice. However, calculator is something that you can use for this because that's a resource that you're going to be using in real life. So here, if we take off that $18.75, our answer is $106.25. So what this means is that even the original price was $125, we're saving 15%, which is $18.75, and we're spending $106.25. Now, there may be some math problems that you're going to be taking a look at today that have more than just these multi-step ones. So it's multi-step. There may be some that you have to find the discount, but then on top of it, you have sales tax. Keep in mind, when you have tip and tax, you are adding. When you have discount, you are subtracting. Our last one that we're going to be taking a look at is simple interest. Now, you guys, this is considered simple interest because there's a lot of other ones that, a lot of other interest that is going to be a lot more complex than what we're going to be doing. Ours is just very simple interest. When we're taking a look at this is very similar to like if you're taking a look at any banking. Okay, you put something in the bank, you put a deposit in, you're going to let it sit there for a little bit. It's going to gain interest as it's in there in your bank account. So what we're going to be taking a look at today is we're going to say we go to the bank and we deposit $700. All right? So we put $700 into a savings account. In that account, we are going to be able to get 5% interest. Now, here's the thing, you guys. With simple interest, we're not taking a look at just one payment of 5%. This is 5% per year. So all of your problems that you're dealing with simple interest, they're going to tell you how many years you have that in there. So we're going to keep this in there for 3 years. So we deposited $700 into our account. Our interest rate is 5% per year, and we're going to keep it in there for 3 years. We want to see how much money we have after those 3 years. What you're going to be doing for this one, we're going to be taking our amount, our 700, we're going to multiply it by our decimal form of 5%, so 0.05. Remember, not 50, okay? It's going to be 5. We're going to multiply by that, but then we're also going to multiply it by 3. If I plug that in my calculator, 700 times 0.05 times 3, I'm going to get the answer 105. What that means is we just gained $105 in simple interest. Now, most of the questions are going to be asking, how much is in your account now? If that's the case, we're going to take our 105 and we are going to add it to our initial price, our initial deposit. So our 700 was our initial deposit. After 3 years of it being in there, we gained $105 in simple interest. So we are at $805 in our account now. So that is our example on simple interest. Your assignment today, you're going to be having a variety of these different ones. You're going to be having some where we're looking at tip, tax, discount, and then simple interest. You guys, it will say it right on there what it is that you're going to be doing, if it's going to be a tip or discount. There's also a couple of word problems, so keep those in mind. A couple things to remember. When you're putting your answers in, you guys, you must have that dollar sign. We're dealing with money here, so we need to make sure that we're following the right format. So we're going to have that dollar sign in front, and then think about our money format. When we're dealing with money format, we're going to have those 2 spots going to the hundredths place for our decimal. So if we have something where we're written like 10.8, that would be incorrect. You need to make sure that you go to that hundredths place with your amount. Now, if the answer was just 10, that's okay to keep it at that. However, if you have something in the tenths place, you must have it in the hundredths place as well. Your assignment looks just like this, okay? So we have a practice and reteach. I will tell you guys, this is our last one that you guys will be doing these worksheets from because these are the last ones I printed for you and gave you a couple weeks ago. So this will be your last one that you're taking a look at, these ones. But a couple problems, and then notice there are a couple word problems on the back side as well. Once you're finished, you're going to upload it to the Google form and you'll be all set. Thank you guys. Have a good one.